Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so let's just dive in and let's start off with this article here from Fox Business. And we do see IMF against making crypto legal tender issues action plan. I want you guys to realize that as we focus on these names like the IMF, the World Economic Forum, the BIS, the major central bankers, right? One thing that I've always made clear on this channel is that these are the names that will fight back against crypto because it is taking control away from their daily processes. Think about it like this. If you are a central banker and you're reaping the benefits of the traditional system, why would you want something like crypto to disrupt a significant percentage of that business flow? Crypto will be taking a large portion away from your revenue cycle. It will take a large portion of your control. And also, retail, everyday users will start transacting and utilizing cryptocurrency more than ever, almost putting the central bankers out of a job, essentially. So we are seeing a big fight back against crypto. And in fact, we're seeing this major it's like a wave of propaganda behind crypto in this idea that, oh, all right, we need to avoid crypto. Retail, don't even touch crypto. Stay away from crypto. This, that. And we've seen this for so long. I said it recently in the Discord. I was talking about how we've seen all of 2020 and 2021. It was, India and China are banning crypto. Can crypto be banned? Mining is being banned. This is being banned. That's being banned. It's all to create this fear tactic for the retail sector to miss out on incredible opportunities, but also for retail to never touch the space. They want as many people out of crypto as possible. Now, also, I do want to talk to you guys about something. And this is this article that got posted yesterday. Now, I'm sure that you guys are all aware of the Bitcoin spot ETF. Everyone touted this as being the biggest event ever within crypto. A lot of people were utilizing it as fuel for Bitcoin's $250,000 plus price predictions, this, that, whatever. But this article says users pick Ripple win against SEC over Bitcoin spot ETF as the biggest event that could happen in crypto. Now, I want to ask all of you that are watching this video, what do you think is bigger? A Ripple win against the SEC or a Bitcoin spot ETF? Comment down below. And also, for those that agree that the Ripple win will be significantly bigger, hit that like button. Because what I've said time and time again around this case is that it's not just about Ripple and XRP. It's going to put things in motion around regulatory frameworks, what could happen, what's going to happen next, and it's going to push for a significant change around regulatory actions against this space as well. This case is much larger than what most anticipate it to be. I've said it in videos recently where I was saying XRP, like this case, as much as everyone wants to make it out to be like this big significant catalyst for XRP's price and this and that, like I think that we should avoid looking at it from a price perspective. Look at it as a major win for this entire industry. Because right now, the SEC is on a warpath. We recently just seen this article where the SEC boss hints at Ethereum is a security, essentially. Did you ever wonder why they let Bitcoin sort of just fly by? They don't really care about Bitcoin. Did you ever think about it? From a tech standpoint, it makes sense, right? If I was, let's say I was a tech company, and I know for a fact that this new emerging technology sucks. It's slow, extremely expensive, and I know my technology, although it might suck, it's slow, it's expensive, it's not as slow and it's not as expensive as that technology. So why would I care about it? I would let it succeed. I'd be like, all right, go ahead, use it, whatever. That's the same thing that's happening with Bitcoin. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love the fact that Bitcoin has paved the way. In fact, I respect it. But it would be disrespectful for me to sit here and say Bitcoin The reason why they're letting Bitcoin fly by is because Bitcoin, it's the chosen one. It's the best thing since... No. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Bitcoin sucks. It sucks. And anyone that's telling you that Bitcoin does not suck, that Bitcoin can be utilized to scale massively in the financial world, it's going to be utilized for this, it's going to be a global reserve currency, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's all bullshit. And that's me being 100% with you guys. Reason why is because Bitcoin is not scalable. It's not suitable for financial use cases. Remember, Bitcoin's original inception was as a store of value to allow you to essentially put your value in. So let's say 2008 rolls around. To prepare for that, I could store my money in Bitcoin, hoping and praying that, hey, at some point in time when this 2008 financial crisis is over, the price of Bitcoin will go back up, my value will go back up. Now, yes, I know Bitcoin was not created before the 2008 financial crisis. It was created after, but that's essentially the idea around it, that it's a store of value that I'll be able to park my dollars in it and create value from that. Bitcoin was not designed and it's not developed for financial use cases the same way that tokens like XRP are. See, that's why we see Bitcoin having that free pass, because they're not worried about Bitcoin. They don't care about Bitcoin as technology because they already know that Bitcoin is not as efficient as fiat currency. A lot of people will say that it is, but hey, listen, without the Lightning Network, which is a layer 2 network, which opens the door for vulnerabilities, it fails, there's a lot of problems that tied to that. Bitcoin is basically useless for transactional use cases and financial use cases. But Ethereum is very interesting because remember, Ethereum's recent proof of stake merge kind of changes the game for Ethereum, and it allows Ethereum to be a little bit more efficient for financial use cases. And that's why once we've seen Ethereum go through the proof of stake merge, we've seen instantly the SEC jump on it and say this could be a securities transaction. And we also see here that in a recent interview with the New York Magazine, Gary Gensler hinted that he believes Ethereum could classify as a security. This is a problem. This is a big issue. And he also opens a door for all other currencies that have teams behind them, for an example. You know, here we have typically created by a group of entrepreneurs who use various opaque mechanisms to promote their tokens and attract investors. He argued that at their core, these tokens are securities as investors are hoping to profit based on the efforts of intermediaries. So yeah, I mean, this opens the door for any currency in this space to be targeted as a security. That's what the SEC wants. They want to leave that door open. They want these companies and they want everyone to question if a token is a security or not because it allows them to attack them. They want this space to be an uncertain, sort of vast landscape for retail. That way, when retail jumps in, they question every single move. They're almost terrified to touch crypto. That's what the SEC wants to create this narrative around crypto because they want retail out. Now, with that, I also do want to point you guys over to this that got posted yesterday as well. This is from Squawkbox. We do see there's an anxiousness around what the rules will be. This is from the Circle CEO on regulating crypto. The U.S. is one of the last to move on providing legislation. There's a very clear path towards regulatory framework. And yeah, I do think that the U.S. is going to be the last one, but all it takes, and I've said this before as well, all it takes is one nation overseas in Europe, we'll say Europe, to move on crypto regulations and have a clear path towards regulatory actions. All it takes is one. Because once we see that, every nation will follow through. That's why I've always focused on these nations moving towards becoming a crypto hub. The UK, the UAE, Hong Kong, etc. Because that puts things in motion. It accelerates the path towards, a regulatory framework being issued out. And it's going to take time. Listen, regulations, to have this space fully regulated, it's going to take at least 2 years. But it doesn't mean that it has to take 2 years for XRP to have regulatory clarity. Remember, I've actually said that this case is huge. It's a huge win for XRP, sure. A huge win for the entire industry as well. But XRP is going to be the only asset that has full-on regulatory clarity if this case is finished within this year, which is a big game changer. And yes, technically you could say Bitcoin does have regulatory clarity because, again, the SEC has given it a free pass. Remember the reason why. Now, over here, we also do see a few individuals talking about the SEC. This is on a main stage, so we do see the SEC will continue to come after all of crypto, regardless of the Ripple outcome. The Ethereum free pass speech was the setup trap. Get Bitcoin and Ethereum out from under securities laws, then everyone else has to go through lawsuits to survive. They did this knowing that we have a do-nothing Congress. Monopoly Creation 101. Congress, are you complicit, or is a new day really coming? Antitrust anyone? Listen to this.
So the two cases I'd focus on in that regard, because they spill over in so many different ways, are the recently decided library case and the maybe soon to be decided Ripple case. They're related in the sense that we're still asking what's a security. I wouldn't overplay one being relevant to the other. I think the judge took a very fact-specific approach in library, and I think, frankly, the judge will take a fact-specific case in Ripple, because I think that's what the SEC is asking everybody to do and saying, we're going to look at your specific facts. Other than maybe Bitcoin, there aren't a lot of specific factual circumstances that have yet publicly passed the SEC test. But I think each of these cases does provide us with clues of maybe where we're going to land on more clarity of where the public can say, here are some indicia of what ultimately will pass muster. In library, you saw, and this helps us advise clients on the front end, the judge took a very close look at what the company was saying early on in describing its own investment. And I think that's going to happen in any case. That's not going to be the end, but you're going to have trouble walking back comments about something looking like an investment contract if you later want to prove it's not an investment contract. In the library, we also had the notice argument that the public wasn't on notice of really what was a security. We have a similar argument in Ripple. I think we have different facts and certainly a different factual record there. And maybe if the judge decides on that ground, it may have I need to find a better word for ripple effect there, but some spillover effect. But I don't think a judge coming out in Ripple and deciding one way or the other is going to signal to everybody the fight is over. I don't imagine you, David, are going to say, never mind, we're not going after any tokens anymore. And I don't think the other side is, the defense bar is going to take the opposite position. But I do think that how library was decided and how Ripple will be decided will continue to educate us on how we can approach the SEC on what factors, what specific facts get us a little bit closer or further away from what's an investment contract.
And that ending there was the big thing that I wanted to mention, going back to my initial statements with this article, is that this case allows for more of a in-depth viewpoint on how we can regulate. How can we do this? How can we do that? That's the biggest game changer around the Ripple case. It's not that this case is going to provide clarity for the entire, crypto industry. No. But it's going to set things in place where we could utilize it as an example. Because right now, the way that we are looking at, regulating crypto in the US, especially even outside of the US as well, there's a lot of issues within this space. It's unknown. It's absolutely unknown. It's almost like a target is on the back of every asset within the space. It's so uncertain. As a retail investor, you almost have to be worried about parking any sort of amount of money into any of these assets, because at some point in time, things might look all sunny on one day, and then all of a sudden, boom, the SEC's rain cloud comes in and washes you out. So it's an unknown. It's an unknown. And that's why I think this is the biggest game changer around this case, is the Hinman documents. Because remember, the Hinman documents for the longest time were utilized as clarity for this space, especially even ICOs. And we've seen the SEC completely backtrack and say, no, that's not our opinion or anything like that. That's just the opinion of someone, from the SEC, aka Hinman. So they backtracked this. But now we are starting to see a big shift towards this again from Empower Oversight. They supported the motion to unseal the Hinman documents related to the SEC crypto conflicts of interest. We do see the SEC has consistently stonewalled any attempts from public interest transparency organizations, including Empower Oversight, to shine a light on conflicts of interest and ethical questions at the agency. The public deserves answers from the SEC as to what exactly the agency knew about Hinman's speech and when they knew it. And I completely agree. This is the biggest one, right? And it's not just big about XRP, because we will start to see shifts and conversations around Ethereum as well from this. I do think that these Hinman documents are a big game changer around the entire case going forward, but also cases after the XRP case. So yes, I do think that 100% we do need 100, like we need regulations. I'm not sitting here and saying that we don't need regulations. I think that we need proper regulations. We need proper regulatory frameworks in mind. But one thing is clear to me. They want retail out. They don't want retail to be a part of this space. We see this with a lot of these major warning signs from the IMF, the BIS. Like the BIS just recently said that technology has lost the war against fiat currencies. Like it's absolutely ridiculous, these statements that are being made, and most of them are just very vague announcements, but they do make an impact. Listen, retail. I've said it time and time again that like there could be like news around something that's all right, yeah, maybe it's bearish, maybe it's not, but retail will react on a massive scale, whether it be a small or big announcement. They will react because psychology plays a big role in this. Emotions play a big role in this. So, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, Bitcoin got the free pass because Bitcoin is inefficient as a financial use case asset. I think that they are aware of this. But I know that they are aware of XRP's potential and power when utilized within something like RippleNet. I think that Ripple, for the longest time, has been disrupting a significant amount of money that is in that food chain around names like the BIS or JP Morgan, Barclays, Morgan Stanley, etc. Like these are the big names that are trying to fight back against this industry because they are concerned about losing control as well as money. Listen, this is all about money. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Guys, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. It's just up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are on this. Before this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.